Okay, so an integral part of the coaching process is you filming your working sets or your main exercises. For some of you, I might ask you to just film everything at the start in terms of film the whole workout, 1 to 2 sets of each exercise. And as we progress through things, I might say, okay, don't film that anymore. But for most of you, you want to film 1 to 2 sets of everything at the start. And this is integral for the coaching process to work, and it's equivalent to you tracking your food intake. We need to be assessing how you're moving and how you're executing movements so we can progress things, right? This also allows me to improve how you move and execute exercises. I can then start to recognize patterns and develop greater understanding of how to progress you as an individual. So some points we want to cover immediately are, you need to film in portrait mode. So I'm filming now in portrait mode. So obviously we all understand what that means. So don't film in landscape, because that usually cuts off your head or your toes, right? And I don't really need to see the edges of anything. I need to see your whole body, right? I need your whole body at all times to be in the frame. So that is from your head to your toes, right? Don't cut off your head, don't cut off your toes, and don't cut off your head, right? And I need to see the correlation between your feet, your knees, your hips, your rib cage, and your shoulder blades, right? Ideally at an angle, and ideally at this angle, this diagonal angle, or this, what you would call rib cage angle, so I can see your rib cage. And never usually from in front or reverse, because I can't see your knee path, your rib cage path, your hip path from directly in front or directly behind. You can always go from that angle over there, you can go from that diagonal angle over there, and you can go from here. But usually it's better from the front, right? All right, so what I've done now is I've pushed the camera further back so you can see a little bit more what I mean. And what I've done also, I've left the barbell in the correct position as if you were to lift, right? So obviously I'm on a platform, but you may not be on a specific platform. You might be on a frame or whatever, or in a space, but we always want to be from that angle. So if I was doing deadlifts or whatever from this position, you can clearly see that you can see my rib cage angle. You can see feet, knees, hips, and head, shoulders, right? So if we were to go demo kind of a squat, that will be the angle that we're looking at, right? I'm not going to go into full squat, but you'll be there. That's the angle we want to see, right? If it was anything else, like a deadlift, per se, this is the angle we want to be filming from. And obviously you can think about all of the other movements where this would be beneficial as well. So all of your core stuff, all of your stretches, upper body, machines, always from this angle. You can always do the same on the other side. Like I said before, you can do from that side. So if you were, let's say we're facing this way, the angle's still the same, right? Ideally have it from front or face on, but this can still work in a case where your frame might be against a wall or something like that. But we always want this diagonal angle, right? Okay, so the last thing we want to touch on, I'm just going to use my notes for this because it's specific words I want to say and I don't want to forget. I'm kind of in a forgetful mood today. Ideally, don't use the mirrors for your main compounds lifts. That is to help you move better and learn to understand your body better and develop your proprioception, so you're understanding through your body and an object moving through space, right? If you're in a situation where you're forced to face a mirror, like when there's a squat rack and there's a mirror in front of it, that's fine. I don't want you like walking backwards to re-rack the bar. Always on-rack the step back and re-rack walking forward. So if you're forced to use a mirror, that's fine. But if you can turn away from the mirror safely, especially in like your deadlifts, RDLs, anything like that, especially if you're doing weightlifting, if the guys who are doing weightlifting, don't ever use a mirror, right? And the reason for that is, obviously we were talking about filming sets, which can also prevent inconsistencies in reps and sets. It allows you to focus on how the movement feels and not having to rely on the mirror, right? This will help develop proprioception. It is easy to develop bad habits when training. Filming sets will allow you to correct these immediately. Proprioception is a sense of relative position of one's own parts of the body and strength of effort being employed in the movement at that time. Developing this skill can help you recruit more musculature, helping to develop neuromuscular coordination as well. The better this ability, the better your potential to refine complex skills like squat, deadlift, and your press. If you're doing upper body like shoulder press, stuff like that, lat raises, any upper body stuff, arms, fine, you can use the mirror because it doesn't really make much difference for that, but your bigger compound movement, especially when your lower limbs, face away from the mirror. Using your mirror will take away from your ability to learn the movement and feel the movement intrinsically. So we want to always be limiting our use of the mirror, generally speaking. Okay, and lastly, I want to say, obviously, try to use a tripod and just be respectful of other gym members. You can always ask people, say, look, I'm going to film, do you mind being in the back, or whatever. If the gym you're in doesn't allow you to use a tripod or is funny about it, you can always just prop your phone up against a water bottle or something. You can still get the same angle by doing that, but ideally get a tripod because it's a little bit easier, stops you flapping about, and you can kind of just leave it there, go and watch your setback, and then review what you've done. Especially when I've given you feedback, you should be trying to apply the feedback and become aware of what you're doing when you're trying to apply that feedback, right? And we want to improve your execution. So if I've given you specific feedback, film 1 to 2 sets, especially your warm-ups, just film it, have a look, see if you're applying the feedback, and then try and improve on the next set. When you're logging, you generally only need to send 1 to 2 sets of your working sets to me for review. If we want to see more, or if you're unsure about something, you can send more, and that's fine. I will use that to our ability to progress things going forwards. Right, hope that helps. If you have any questions with filming or anything else, just WhatsApp me, right?